We're approaching the second to last week of the season. Let's preview it up next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5 on Friday the 13th. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White, and let's preview Week 26. Starters sit these two start pitchers. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, typically a must-start pitcher, but only 4 innings in his return next week at the Braves and home against the Rockies.
Yeah, but he looked good. It'll probably be 5 innings the next time, and those are 2 really good matchups. So I think Yamamoto is must-start.
Zach Gallen has looked better as of late, but at the Rockies and at the Brewers, 2 tough matchups.
Tough matchups, and he's better of late, yeah, but shaky for a longer stretch than that. So I think most weeks when Gallen has had 2 starts this year, I probably would have put him in the must-start category. He's just outside it for me. He's still advisable, but I could see in certain situations why you might not want to use him.
Yu Darvish, the Jekyll and Hyde matchups, 1 against the Astros and 1 against the White Sox.
Yeah, he looked fine in his last start, and because one of the matchups this week is the White Sox, I think Yu Darvish is advisable in most cases.
Ranger Suarez hasn't looked great since returning from the IL, and he's at the Brewers, at the Mets next week.
Yeah, short outings, and these are tougher matchups, but I still think 2 starts are probably going to use Suarez.
Nick Pivetta has pitched better as of late, but I'm famous last words. He's at Tampa Bay and home against the Twins next week.
I'd probably use him.
Shane Baz, home against the Red Sox and home against the Blue Jays.
So he is one of 3 pitchers in my head-to-head points league only category of the 2-start pitcher rankings. I don't love any of them, but I have to fill out that category. So Shane Baz is somebody you could think about using in a points league.
And Gavin Williams, home against the Twins at the Cardinals.
Same thing for him.
All right, Scott, who are some sleeper pitchers that you actually kind of like for next week?
Okay, Reed Detmers is the first one. He's looked great since returning from the minors, and where he seemed to regain his slider. That's such a make or break pitch for him. 1 good matchup against the White Sox, 1 not so good against the Astros, but it's 2 starts, so let's not parse too much. Matthew Boyd, same thing, bad matchup against the Twins, but then a good one against the Cardinals, and he's performed regardless of matchups lately. I know his last turn against the White Sox could have gone better, but he still got a bunch of strikeouts, and he's just generally looked good. So with the 2 starts, 1 good matchup, I like Boyd for this week. Albert Suarez gets the Giants and Tigers, 2 lineups that rank higher in runs scored than you might think, but I don't think of them as particularly good offenses. Suarez has been pitching well for a while now and has a good offense backing him. So those are the only 2-start pitchers I have in my sleeper pitchers list for this week, but 1-start options include a couple guys starting this weekend against the Mariners. So we'll see how that goes, because then they're going to face the Mariners again next week. And those 2 are Max Scherzer coming off the IL and Andrew Heaney. Scherzer, you'll especially want to see how that goes because, returning from injury, he may just not look right. He looked good in his last minor league start, but he may not look right against a major league lineup. We'll see. But good matchup against the Mariners there. Kumar Rocker had a scintillating debut, only went 4 innings. But he looked terrific. Next start is against the Blue Jays. I would definitely be tempted to use him if I had a need. Landon Knack, good fly ball pitcher with the Dodgers offense backing him, and a great matchup at Miami. Cody Bradford got knocked around in his last start, but I still think the underlying numbers are strong and could bounce back against the Blue Jays, a team that tends to struggle against left-handed pitchers. Jamison Tyone has pitched well lately. Big strike thrower, works deep into games. He gets the Nationals this week. And finally, Martin Perez, just because he's facing the White Sox and they are terrible. Bonus name, also just because he's facing the White Sox, Griffin Canning.
The best hitter matchups for next week: Dodgers, Braves, Diamondbacks, Pirates, and Cubs. The worst hitter matchups: Rangers, Reds, Tigers, Athletics, and Brewers. Scott, who are your sleeper hitters for week 26?
So I like this group quite a bit this week. Dylan Cruz is number 1 on the list. The Nationals matchups are pretty good. And 4 lefties on the schedule since coming up, entering Thursday. Cruz against lefties, 7 for 17, 2 home runs, 2 steals. So he's just been straight up mashing them. And don't need much of an excuse to start him anyway. He's been so productive with all the stolen bases he's providing. Tommy Edman has been great for the Dodgers of late. You mentioned they have the best matchups. You can start him at 3 different positions. Like him a lot this week. Jock Peterson, Diamondbacks having the 3rd best matchups, and including a series at Coors Field, but mainly Jock Peterson on this list because 0 lefties on the schedule for the Diamondbacks. He has great numbers against righties. Good play this week. Taylor Ward has been hot, and when he gets hot, he tends to stay hot for a while. Wilyer Abreu and Masataka Yoshida both only play against righties for the Red Sox, but that's all they have on the schedule. So I think they're going to have a good week. That's Abreu and Yoshida. With the Braves having the 2nd best matchups, got to pick someone from their lineup. I'm going with Jorge Soler, who looks like he's beginning to pick things up. Someone who should also benefit from that righty-heavy schedule for the Diamondbacks, in addition to Jock Peterson, is Jake McCarthy. Slowed down, but still playing regularly. And then finally, Andres Chaparro. This is a new name for the Nationals, only 15% rostered. And I mentioned the 4 lefties on the schedule, how good that is for Dylan Cruz. Same for Andres Chaparro against lefties this year. He has hit .344 with an 1104 OPS.
All right. For more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we will be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.